Good morning. Welcome to Morning Bible Study, the last day of July. Thank you so much for joining me. It is 75 degrees outside, beautiful morning. I don't see a cloud in the sky, so I wonder if we're going to have a dry week. It's been kind of a dry week. I turned water back on some of my plants so that they wouldn't wilt. So I hope you can hear. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. So normally I'm a lot more organized, but if you'll remember yesterday, the sound went off, and so I've been spending time this morning updating all the softwares, and instead of making it better, it made it worse. So it's been one of those mornings, and so I barely made it onto the air this morning. Anyway. But I'm here, and we're going to study God's Word. Let's take a look at our birthdays. We have one birthday today, and the birthday is Remington Gremmel. So happy birthday, Remington. May you have a beautiful day today. And let's see. We'll have a birthday tomorrow. So tomorrow is the big day. I believe we are still planning to do a Bible study tomorrow. Jennifer and I will be going to Phoenix to pick up her parents, assuming they make it onto the airplane. And they'll be flying to Phoenix, and then we will. There's really no direct flight from Milwaukee to Tucson. So the only choices are to go to where there's a direct flight. Well, there's a direct flight to Phoenix from Milwaukee, or there's a direct flight from Chicago to Tucson. And both of those would work, but we are going to go to Phoenix and pick up parents, and I should be good. What the problem? We just don't know how mobile they are. Like, what size car we need to get down there? Do we want the minivan, which is higher up, or do we want the Prius, which is lower down? And I'm thinking that the Prius, because then we'll have, when we get them here, the issue will be getting them up into whatever. So we're just, it's unknowns. It's just unknowns. We'll get through them. It's just unknowns. You ever have this in your life? You know that a change is coming, and you know that things are happening, but you're just not sure what they are and how to deal with them. And there's just some things you can't prepare for. And so this morning, my time with God, I said, okay, God, this is, just help us figure it out. And of course, we know that he will. So this is, I'm not really nervous, and I'm not even, I know that we can accomplish whatever it is we need to accomplish. I just want to make sure that we don't kill them or do something we're not supposed to do or something like that. Anyway, but I believe we will still have a Bible study tomorrow and next week. Although that could all change day by day, right? You just don't know. But I'm pretty sure. I'm 90% sure, 80% sure. All right. So we did the birthdays, and I believe as near as I can tell, because Jennifer hasn't walked in, as near as I can tell, I'm still giving you sound. So sound is working at this point. A couple things aren't working that you don't know about, but there's a couple workarounds that I can do afterwards. Mostly it's recording this and getting it up onto YouTube, which I do for those people that can't seem to reach it on Facebook. I started doing that. All right, let's get into our study. That was another thing. I'm not entirely sure where we left off, but I'm pretty sure we're now in chapter 15. I don't think we finished chapter 14. I think we finished chapter 14. That shows you how my brain's been scrambled. But that's where we're going to start. We're going to start. We now have a divided kingdom, Jeroboam to the north, Rehoboam to the south. Jeroboam got crushed by God. Rehoboam gets crushed by God. So now we'll pick up in chapter 15 and see a new king. So let's just go there. In the 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, Abijah became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 years. His mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. So we have a new king in Judah, and his name is reign of Jeroboam, son of Abijah. Abijah became king of Judah. So he is the son, right? The 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam, he is Abijah. He became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem for 3 years. His mother's name is Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. And if he's down in Judah, it doesn't say here that he's the son of Solomon or in the line of Solomon, but he must be in the line of Solomon. And let's see. He committed all the sins of his father had done before him. His heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his forefather had been. Nevertheless, for David's sake, the Lord his God gave him a lamp in Jerusalem by raising up a son to succeed him and by making Jerusalem strong. For David had done what was right in the eyes of the Lord and had not failed to keep any of the Lord's commands all the days of his life, except in the case of Uriah the Hittite. So it sounds like God is protecting Judah by raising up leaders in Judah who have the heart of David for the sake of David. And you'll remember this previously, that God said, for the sake of David, we will make sure that there is a line in Judah for the sake of David. So because David has done what was right in the eyes of the Lord. And yes, David did do this terrible thing with Bathsheba, and they had a child, and then he tried to cover up by killing her husband, Uriah the Hittite. We know that happened. But that doesn't seem to... This is interesting. I mean, not interesting. We know this is the heart of God. But what God's saying here is that even though you had this major indiscretion because your heart was after me, David was a good king. So it has nothing to do with the outward things that you do, even though the outward things that you do can be problematic. It has to do with the inward heart. And David's inward heart was towards God, even though he failed miserably. And this is, and only God knows the inward heart. The only two people that know the inward heart are God and the person, right? You cannot look at a person and tell what their inward heart is. You simply can't. God can and the person can, but you can't. Because people keep things, unless you're completely transparent, which is the healthiest way to live your life, nobody can tell your inward heart. Only God and you. David said, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." David was all about following God, having the desire to follow God. Now, when you have the desire to follow God, you will try to please him. You will do things because you love him, because you have that relationship with him. And when you don't have that relationship with him, the things that you don't necessarily outflow towards following God. All right, enough of the pontificating. So what continues on? Verse 6. There was a war between Abijah and Jeroboam throughout Abijah's lifetime. As for the other events of Abijah's reign, and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? There was a war between Abijah and Jeroboam, and Abijah rested with his ancestors and was buried in the city of David, and Asa, his son, succeeded him as king. So that's all we get of Abijah. There was a war between him and Jeroboam the whole time that he reigned, and things were not peaceful, which is unfortunate because both of them are loved by God. Both of them are the 12 tribes, but they can't get it together, and so they war against each other. Almost like, Republicans and Democrats, although this This is geographical. That's, political. Anyway, all right. We move on to verse 9. In the 20th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Asa became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem 41 years. His grandmother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. Asa did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, as his father David had done. He expelled the male shrine prostitutes from the land and got rid of all the idols his ancestors had made. He even deposed his grandmother Maacah from her position as queen mother because she had made a repulsive image for the worship of Asherah. Asa cut it down and burned it in the Kidron Valley. Although he did not remove the high places, Asa's heart was fully committed to the Lord all his life. He brought into the temple of the Lord the silver and the gold and the articles that he and his father had dedicated. All right, so it looks like Asa is a good guy. Asa is a good king down in Judah. He is the he's the grandson of Maacah, daughter of Absalom, and he does good things. He seems to be a good king. His heart is after God. He rips down the Asherah poles. He rids all the prostitutes. Although it says he expelled just the male shrine prostitutes. Did he leave the female, or did they not have female? Interesting. I don't know. But he got rid of the repulsive images and really tried to follow God. And this is good. It's when you have a good king, like my great-grandmother was born 1895 during the reign of Queen Victoria. One of the things that Queen Victoria did was she used her bully pulpit to change the culture of England. And so you talk about Victorian England and how people were very, in modern day, we would say prudish, but having a very conservative view of sexuality. And all of that came about because of one person, Queen Victoria, who said, this is what we're going to do. And so that's what she did. And it changed Victorian England. Everybody knew what the expectation was. And there was a fault. I mean, that's one of the great things of a bully pulpit, is that you can say, this is what I expect of you as people of this country. This is what we're going to portray to the world as who we are. And you end up getting, because you're the leader and because more people follow you than not follow you, then it just kind of infuses the whole culture. This is the great thing about the bully pulpit. And it has a powerful way on morals and behaviors, a powerful influence on morals and behaviors. And Asa, just the simple act of doing these things will bring a change in Judah, because the people will know what the expectation is. You have to set a bar. You have to say, this is what the expectation is. And then if people love the organization or they love the country or whatever, they will all you have to do is set the expectation as a leader. Say, this is what I demand. This is what I expect. And people will get there. Because people want the country to succeed. They want these things. I think what the problem is that when you are a completely divided country, the expectations are completely different. People don't know what to do. They don't. They're confused. And that's what happens when you get a divided country. All right, verse 16. There was war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, throughout their reigns. Baasha, king of Israel, went up against Judah and fortified Ramah to prevent anyone from leaving or entering the territory of Asa, king of Judah. So they're now at war. Asa in Judah and Baasha in Israel. And they are so bad that he prevents anyone from leaving Israel to the north and going down to Judah territory to the south. It's like, you can't go. And this is probably the beginning of the rift, or maybe the solidification of the rift between Israel and Samaria, Judah and Samaria, the land of Jerusalem and the land of Samaria. You can't even go in there. It's that bad. And this will last for a long time because these types of things last in a culture for a very long time. It's like China that went to the one-child policy, and all of a sudden their demographics started horrifically depleting. And once they realized the problem, they said, okay, you can have more than one child. But by then, the culture had been set. And people still don't have more than one child. So, because that culture is hard, it's hard. What you say has a major impact in future generations. All right, verse 18. Asa then took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the Lord's temple and of his own palace. He entrusted it to his officials and sent them to Ben-Hadad, son of Tibramon, the son of Hezion, the king of Aram, who was ruling in Damascus. Let there be a treaty between me and you, he said, as there was between my father and your father. See, I am sending you a gift of silver and gold. Now break your treaty with Baasha, king of Israel, so he will withdraw from me. So Asa is a clever guy. He says, I'm going to take this gift. I'm going to take gold and silver from the treasury. I'm going to bypass. I'm going to go north past Israel, and I'm going to go farther to Damascus, and I'm going to make a treaty up there with the king of Aram. And we're going to create a treaty where you and me are united, and the people between us, which is Israel, are not. This is good to do, to make treaties with other people, to make yourself stronger. But does God want him to make this treaty? And is this a good person to have a treaty with? We know that Solomon had a very, very strong treaty with Tyre and Sidon, which is up in this area. And that was a very, very good treaty. It wasn't necessarily a treaty, but it was an economic. Treaties can be political treaties, but they can also be commerce treaties. And there was obviously a commerce treaty between Solomon and that king up there in Tyre Sidon area. So what happens? Ben-Hadad agreed with King Asa and sent the commanders of his forces against the towns of Israel. He conquered Ijon, Dan, Abel, Beth-Makkah, and Kinnereth, in addition to Naphtali. When Baasha heard this, he stopped building Ramah and withdrew to Tisra. Then King Asa issued an order to all Judah. No one was exempt, and they carried away from Ramah the stones and timber Baasha had been using there. And with them, King Asa built up Gerbah in Benjamin and also Mizpah. As for all the other events of Asa's reign, all of his achievements, all he did, and the cities he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? In his old age, however, his feet became diseased, and then Asa rested with his ancestors and was buried with them in the city of his father David. And Jehoshaphat, his son, succeeded him as king. Jump in Jehoshaphat. So he was a successful military commander, looked like a good treaty with the king of Damascus. And this seems to go well. They conquer a bunch of cities, so much so that Israel has to withdraw. And so it definitely looks like under King Asa's reign that he was able to conquer sections of land up in Israel and make a good treaty with Damascus. And he was a good king. God says that he's a good king. But what it doesn't say is that God intervened. I mean, God basically created him, but it doesn't sound like it's one of those things that the king is doing evil, and then God comes to the king and says, you're doing evil, you need to repent. Then the king repents, and he starts doing good. This one, it sounds like he pretty much started as a good king. All right. So now we'll move on. Verse 25, Nadab, son of Jeroboam, became king of Israel in the second year of Asa, king of Judah, and he reigned over Israel 2 years. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, following the ways of his father and committing the same sin his father had caused Israel to commit. Baasha, son of Abijah, from the tribe of Issachar, plotted against him, and he struck him down at Gibbethon, a Philistine town, while Nadab and all Israel were besieging it. Baasha killed Nadab in the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, and succeeded him as king. So Well, yeah, we're getting this king, that king, this king, that king. So the new king in Israel is Nadab. He's the son of Jeroboam, but he still does evil. So he dies, and he did evil aside the Lord, committing the following way. So Baasha, son of Ahijah from the tribe of Issachar, plotted against him, struck him down, while Nadab, the king, was besieging it. Baasha killed Nadab in the 3rd year. So Nadab is now dead. Verse 29. As soon as he began to reign, he killed Jeroboam's whole family. And he did not leave Jeroboam anyone that breathed, but destroyed them all according to the word of the Lord given through his servant Ahijah the Shilonite. This happened because all the sins of Jeroboam had committed and had caused Israel to commit, and because he aroused the anger of the Lord, the God of Israel. As for the other events of Nadab's reign and all he did, are they not written in the books of the annals of the king of Israel? There was a war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, throughout their reigns. So now we have Nadab in the north, Asa to the south, and they're still warring. So we're getting back and forth stories. We follow the north for a little bit, we follow the south for a little bit. And as it is now, Nadab has just died, and Asa is still alive, but we know that Asa died. Asa's a good king, Nadab's a bad king. I guess you could, I bet there are charts out there that say which is a good king, which is a bad king. We'll go ahead and finish off the chapter. In the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, Baasha, son of Ahijah, became king of all Israel in Tisra, and he reigned 24 years. But he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, following the ways of Jeroboam and committing the same sin Jeroboam had caused Israel to commit. So right now, Asa is a good king, and Baasha, son of Ahijah, is a bad king. And in the weight of things, Judah is winning and Israel is losing in the eyes of the Lord. I guess you could say that. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'll have to look at this, but I'm going to bring up a chart that shows, I'll have to find one first, that shows all the kings of Israel and Judah kind of follow the chart along. And then we'll kind of see which ones are the good kings, which ones are the bad kings, and we'll just follow them along. And there's patterns, and we already have seen the one pattern. The one pattern is you're a bad king. You're born a bad king, you live a bad king, you die a bad king. And we also see the pattern of he's a good king. He was born a good king, he lives a good king, he dies a good king. And then we'll see if there's breaks from that pattern as we continue reading. But we'll do that tomorrow for our next session. We're getting close to ending. It looks like even though I've had some struggles getting this up and running, it appears that it's working, so that's good. So let's go ahead and close in prayer. Dear God, thanks for this day. Keep us in your grace until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen. And let me go over and see if there's any comments that I need to respond to. Yes, Polly's parents said, Mom came and I'm not going back. So I may have to rely on you two for help, to help me. Oh my God. Oh, is there a copy of the Annals of the Kings someplace? I'll look into that. I will look into that. And we'll find out. We'll find that out together. All right. So let us close for today, and we will meet tomorrow. And same bat time, same bat channel. And thank you for joining me. And we'll see you later. Take care. Bye.